You walk into a room and something shifts. People start talking differently. The air becomes softer. Someone you barely know begins to open up. They say things they've never told anyone, not because you asked, but because somehow they felt safe. You've probably never thought of yourself as a healer. Maybe you're the quiet one, the one still figuring things out, the one carrying your own wounds. But even so, people seem to feel better after being around you. They smile more, they breathe deeper, and sometimes they walk away changed. Though they can't explain why, this isn't coincidence, it's energy. And your energy has the quiet power to heal. Carl Jung once said, "Know all the theories, master all the techniques, but as you touch a human soul, be just another human soul." You don't need to be perfect, enlightened, or even certain to be healing. You only need to be present, deeply, truthfully, humanly present. When someone is in your field, they feel something unspoken. Maybe it's the way you listen. Maybe it's the silence you hold without judgment. Maybe it's the peace you've built through pain. But whatever it is, when it reaches them far beneath the surface, this kind of healing isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself. And often you don't even know it's happening. You walk away from a conversation and feel tired, unsure why. You think nothing of it. But the other person walks away lighter, calmer, more clear. That's the power of subtle healing. It doesn't look like magic. It looks like you, simply being as you are. This video is not about technique. It's about recognition. It's about helping you see what your presence is already doing, even when you're not trying. Because the truth is, your energy has been healing people quietly, gently, and powerfully, for longer than you know. If you've ever felt like people leave you different than they arrived, stay with me. What comes next may help you finally understand why. Sign 1. People open up to you without knowing why. You've likely experienced it more than once. A stranger, a co-worker, even someone who barely knows you begins to share their inner world. Secrets, emotions, memories they've never told anyone else. It happens in quiet corners, in passing conversations, in unexpected moments, and always without you asking for it. It's not that you're prying. It's not that you're trying. It's something deeper, something unspoken in your presence that disarms people's defenses and invites their truth forward. Carl Jung referred to this as transference, when others unconsciously project their inner material onto someone they sense as safe, strong, or familiar. But in your case, it goes beyond projection. Your energy signals something different. I will not judge you. I will not fix you. I will simply hold space for your truth. And in a world where people are starving for authenticity, that kind of energy is rare. It feels like home. It feels like a return. It gives them permission to drop the mask, even if just for a moment. You may have wondered why this keeps happening. You may have even seen it as a burden at times. But what if it's not random? What if your presence, your calm, your silence, your emotional depth is exactly what their nervous system has been searching for? You don't have to understand their pain to help them feel seen. Sometimes healing begins not with advice, but with being heard. And somehow, people sense that in you before you say a word. You are not a therapist. You are not a guide. But your energy holds the doorway open for people to meet themselves. And that is the beginning of real transformation. Sign 2. You feel the weight of others, and afterward, they feel lighter. There are moments when you walk away from a conversation feeling drained, tired, heavy, even sad. And you can't quite explain why. You were just listening, just being there. But afterwards, something in you feels like it absorbed more than words. And maybe you did. Some people bring their emotions into a space silently, unconsciously. They don't even realize the weight they carry until they place it down. And often they place it on you, not out of harm, but out of instinct. because your energy feels like it can hold it. Carl Jung spoke of the wounded healer, the one whose own journey through suffering creates a kind of inner openness, a quiet permission for others to release. This doesn't mean you're broken. It means your soul learned through its own scars how to receive what others hide. Without realizing it, you become a vessel. You transmute. You take in what others cannot carry alone. And while they may leave feeling clearer, you're left sorting through an emotional fog that isn't even yours. You've probably asked yourself, why do I feel this way after helping someone? It's because you helped in more ways than you knew. You didn't just listen. You held space with your whole being. You didn't just witness their pain. Your aura absorbed the echoes of it. This is the unseen labor of the energetically sensitive, the kind of healing that happens beneath awareness, the kind that feels invisible, but is deeply real. If this is you, remember, it's okay to rest. It's okay to clear. Your gift is not in carrying everything. It's in allowing what isn't yours to pass through you without staying, because when your energy becomes a sanctuary, others will always come seeking refuge. Sign 3. Your presence changes the atmosphere. Even when you say nothing, you've likely noticed it before. You enter a space and something shifts. The room grows quieter. People sit up straighter. The energy feels different, more focused, more open, more alive. You haven't spoken, you haven't tried to lead, but still, everything responds. This is what it means to carry a field. Your energy isn't passive. It's active, resonant, and strong enough to alter the subtle dynamics around you. Carl Jung would call this an archetypal presence, when someone embodies qualities that transcend the personal and speak to something collective, something ancient. When your inner state is aligned, when your heart and presence are coherent, your energy creates harmony. It invites clarity. And in doing so, it unconsciously confronts everything around it that is out of balance. You may notice people slowing down when you're near, or suddenly becoming more reflective. Sometimes, they'll say things like, "I don't know why, but I feel calmer when you're here." That's your energy speaking. That's the field you've created doing its silent work. You're not forcing it. You're not imposing, you're simply being. And that state of being is rare in a world that is constantly doing, performing, pushing. Your presence reminds others that there's another way to exist, with stillness, with truth, with depth. And because of that, even in silence, you become a catalyst for change. You don't need to be in the spotlight to affect a room. You are the shift. You don't have to lead with your voice. Your vibration leads for you. That is healing, not loud, not dramatic, but undeniable. You are the quiet rebalancing, the pause that softens chaos, the breath that brings others back into themselves, and that, without a word, is medicine. Sign 4. You attract people in crisis, and they leave changed. They don't always announce their pain. Sometimes they show up smiling, performing, pretending, but something in your energy draws them in. Maybe it's the steadiness you carry. Maybe it's the way you hold space without needing to fix. Whatever it is, people in transition, people on the edge of emotional or spiritual collapse, seem to find you. Carl Jung spoke of archetypal magnetism, the idea that our energy resonates with unconscious needs in others. When someone is silently begging for clarity, they find themselves drawn to those who hold it, not because they understand what's happening, but because their soul recognizes something safe, something stabilizing, something real. You may not know why certain people are suddenly in your life, why they open up to you, cling to you, or depend on your presence during their darkest times. And you may not even realize the impact you've had until long after they've gone. But you were the bridge, the lighthouse, the moment of peace in the storm. Your energy doesn't promise answers. It doesn't pretend to rescue, but it reflects something and a different possibility, a quieter way of being. and that reflection can be enough to initiate change. Many of these people will walk away. Some will thank you. Some won't. Some may even disappear once they've stabilized, never fully understanding what you offered them. That's okay. Healing doesn't require recognition. When your energy is aligned with truth, it plants seeds, quietly, invisibly, often without your awareness. And those seeds grow long after you're gone. You're not here to carry others. You're here to remind them of their strength, simply by walking in yours. That is how energy heals, not by force but by example, by resonance, by presence. Sign 5. You feel exhausted after certain conversations without knowing why. You weren't the one talking the most. You didn't share anything deeply personal. And yet when the interaction ends, you feel drained, as if something heavy moved through you, as if part of you held more than words could explain. This isn't weakness, it's sensitivity, it's energetic openness. When you carry healing energy, you naturally create space for others, but sometimes you hold too much of what they're not ready to carry on their own. Carl Jung described transpersonal processes, moments when our unconscious takes on content that belongs to the collective, to others, even to generations before us. As someone whose field is open and responsive, you absorb more than just information. You absorb impression, emotion, residue. You don't just listen, you feel. And that feeling doesn't end with the conversation. It lingers in the body, in the chest, in the nervous system. It can show up as emotional fatigue, mental fog, or even physical heaviness. This is one of the hidden burdens of the silent healer, offering light while slowly losing your own. Not because you mean to, but because you haven't yet learned when to release what isn't yours. You must remember, your presence is powerful, but it's not meant to be a container for everything. Healing doesn't mean absorbing. It means witnessing without attachment, holding space without losing yourself in it. If you leave interactions feeling emptied, don't shame yourself for being sensitive. Honor that sensitivity and give it what it needs: time, stillness, solitude, rituals that help you clear what was never yours to keep. Because when your energy becomes a refuge, many will come to rest in it. But it's your responsibility to rest too. Even light needs somewhere to return. Sign 6. You can calm someone with just your presence or even your silence. There's no need for the right words. No advice, no solution. Just your being there and somehow settles something. The crying slows. The breath evens out. The nervous system relaxes. Not because of what you say, but because of how you are. In a chaotic world, presence is rare. And the kind of presence that comes from someone who has met their own pain, who carries depth, stillness, and grounded truth, is healing in itself. You don't need a title or training. You only need to be fully here. Carl Jung spoke of the self, the inner center of balance, truth, and totality. When a person is connected to that center, they begin to radiate a different kind of energy. Their silence isn't empty, it's full. Their presence doesn't demand what it holds. You may have noticed that anxious people calm down around you, that children, animals, or sensitive souls are drawn to sit near you, that someone talking in circles starts to find clarity just by speaking. In your direction, you don't fix, you don't push, you don't preach, but your energy says you are safe now, and in that safety, healing begins. This kind of healing can't be measured, it can't be proven, but it is felt, deeply, instinctively. It's the frequency of peace, and those who are fragmented, scattered, or afraid will feel it, even if they don't understand why. You're not doing anything grand, but your presence is, and that is the paradox of healing energy. The quieter it is, the more powerful it becomes. Sign 7. You sense emotional pain in others before they name it, before they speak, before they admit anything is wrong. You already feel it. You hear it in their voice, see it in their eyes, feel it in your chest. You don't need to know the story to sense the sorrow. You don't need proof. Your body already knows. Carl Jung believed that those who are deeply connected to their unconscious develop what he called symbolic perception, the ability to interpret what lies beneath the surface beyond words. For you, this isn't a skill, it's instinct. You walk through the world reading more than people realize, and sometimes what you feel is overwhelming, not because it's yours, but because no one else has said it out loud yet. You might hesitate to speak up. You might doubt yourself. But then, days or weeks later, that person opens up, and everything you felt was right there, waiting to be seen. This kind of intuitive empathy is more than emotional intelligence. It's energetic resonance. You tune into people not with your mind, but with your field. And when someone's pain resonates with an unhealed place inside you, or a place you've already transformed, you know it. You've likely sat in rooms full of people and picked up on sadness no one mentioned, or felt anger beneath someone's politeness, or grief wrapped in laughter. You are not imagining it. You're perceiving what others have not yet acknowledged, and that awareness, even if you keep it to yourself, changes how you move, how you speak, how you hold space. Because when you feel someone's pain before they do, and you choose to stay present anyway, you've already started to heal something they couldn't yet name. Sign 8. People change after you leave, even if they don't understand why. You've likely seen it happen. After spending time with someone, a friend, a stranger, even a brief encounter, they shift. They become more reflective, more open, more willing to face what they've been avoiding. And you're not sure what you did, because you didn't do anything. You were just there. But your presence left something behind, an echo, a frequency, a seed. Carl Jung spoke of synchronicity, the idea that meaning can emerge from seemingly unrelated events. When your energy intersects with someone else's at the right moment, something deeper activates. A thought begins to move. A defense begins to soften. A truth begins to rise, and often it doesn't happen in the moment. It happens after, when you're no longer there to witness it, because your presence planted something quiet, something they couldn't hear at the time, but later couldn't ignore. You've probably had people come back to you weeks later, saying, "I've been thinking about our conversation," or "Something you said really stayed with me," even if you barely remember what was said. That's not your intellect they're responding to, it's your energy. You created a pause, a shift, a doorway, and they walked through it, long after you were gone. This kind of healing doesn't ask for acknowledgement. It doesn't seek gratitude. It works beneath the surface, rearranging the invisible. You may never see the result, but trust. Your energy moved something important. You're not here to chase impact. You're here to be impact, quietly, authentically, without needing to know what changes, because healing isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's a presence that lingers in silence until the soul is ready to listen. Sign 9. You don't try to heal, and that's exactly why healing happens. You're not chasing transformation. You're not trying to fix anyone. You're not carrying a mission on your shoulders, and yet again and again people feel changed after being near you. They feel seen, soothed, understood, as if something inside them opened, without effort or intention from you. That's because true healing energy doesn't come from control. It comes from alignment, from being so deeply present in your own truth that others, simply by entering your field, remember something about themselves they'd forgotten. Carl Jung described this as the power of individuation, the lifelong process of becoming fully yourself. When someone reaches a certain level of inner integration, they begin to radiate coherence, and that coherence becomes medicine for those still fragmented. Your gift isn't in doing, it's in being. It's the quality of your presence, the way you listen, the way you remain still when others react, the way your silence holds space without tension, because you're not trying to lead, you're not demanding to be followed. You're simply standing where you are, Nas, whole, aware, imperfect, and real. That is why healing happens around you, not because you push, but because you don't. In your presence, people sense that they're allowed to take off the mask, to stop pretending, to breathe. And that experience, and brief as it may be, creates room for something sacred to begin. You may never call yourself a healer, and you don't have to. Your energy speaks for itself. You are not healing people despite being unaware. You are healing because you are present. And presence without agenda is the rarest medicine of all. You may have never thought of yourself as a healer. Maybe you felt too tired, too uncertain, too human. Maybe you thought healing belonged to those with titles, with certainty, with answers. But the truth is, your presence, your quiet, grounded, honest presence, has already done what many never will. You've walked into rooms and softened tension. You've held conversations that left others clearer. You've sat in silence that gave someone the space to cry, to breathe, to come back to themselves. You've listened when others couldn't listen to themselves. You've carried energy that made people feel safe, not because you told them what to do, but because they felt seen around you, without judgment. Carl Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." You've done that in yourself and silently in others, not with effort, not with intention, but with being. That is healing. You don't have to do anything more. You don't have to prove your worth, perfect your energy, or be anyone else. You only need to continue walking in your truth, clearing what is not yours and letting your presence speak where words cannot. Yes, it can be lonely. Yes, it can be tiring. And yes, you will often feel unseen by those who don't yet know how to recognize the invisible. But the people who needed you, they felt you. And they'll carry a piece of your presence with them long after the moment has passed. That is how healing moves. Through whispers, not speeches. Through resonance, not force. Through ordinary souls who have done the work to become whole, and in doing so become mirrors for others. If this message resonated with something deep inside you, let it be felt right below. My energy heals, even in silence, and let those who carry the same gift from it quietly, humbly, fully, find you in the stillness.